pipe prices are going up, that's a good thing for you? Is there both sides of that coin? Is it a good thing sometimes when prices are going down? Can you play both sides of that trade?
It depends. So, and overall, I don't like high prices because I don't
Mm,
want to sell expensive product to my customers. So that's always what I like to say. It's pricing. There's so many different facets to it. So in my position, what I have to do every time I make a purchase is when operators are selling, they're wanting a certain price based on what they probably paid for that pipe in the beginning, right?
right.
And that's a very spot price within a very small window. And when I buy used pipe off them, or let's just keep it all new. Let's say they cancel that drilling program 6 months later and they want to sell that pipe and they want me to come in and buy it. I have to buy that on speculation on not only labor, not only steel prices, but like the availability of me being able to move it and the quantities and how long. And it's that's where it is like a commodity, but sometimes it's long term. So say I buy something that I have to hold for a year and a half and sell slowly over time. I don't always know what the market's going to do, so I have to buy that cheap no matter what. And yes, I'm going to make a profit no matter what if I know the price is going to go up from the really cheap offer I make. But sometimes you don't have a choice, right? But if it's something I know I can turn in 30 to 60 days, I'll give a really strong offer. So there's just so many different deal uh, examples. It's hard to kind of give like a baseline description.
Yeah, that makes sense. And is pricing for me, I've always felt that pricing my services is one of the hardest things to do because it's like there's so many variables. It's like how much are you worth? How much value can you create? But it's also like who is the company? What's their budget? What are their alternatives? When are you getting too hoggy? Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered, right? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I think I have this value, but at the same time, if I start to get too high, then you could lose business. And so, how does when you think about pricing, is it more just arithmetic, like you're doing the math and saying this is kind of what I need, or is it like this dynamic pricing where you're looking at the counterparty and really trying to figure out, what can this market bear?
Oh, that's still another tough question. Can you ask that question just a little bit different way, Max? Because
Basically, like, is it the pricing that you're doing essentially like, is it just pure math where you're like, I got to do this or I got to make this margin? Or is it more dynamic in the sense of like different clients have different budgets and you're kind of like, yes, the math has to work. But for example, company over here, I know that they're in a hurry. They need it now. I can charge it more. I mean, just how dynamic is the pricing? Is it just a simple equation or is it like, do you really have to look at the deal specific and figure out what margin that deal can bear?
okay, sure. So sell price when I sell material, it's very
Yep.
like basic. Like I try to keep it the same. Most of my clients that buy material on the construction side, they use pretty similar volume monthly over the years. So they're the type of companies that are looking for the typical 2 to 5% increase in price a year. They're looking for prices to stay with whatever inflation's doing, that type of thing, right? So that's the sell side. That's me selling pipe to my customers. That's very simple. On the buy side, it can either be two things. It can be math because I know that item's not very popular and I need to sell it quick. So if that's the case, yeah, it's all comes down to numbers. Like how much is my trucking? How much is my forklift? What's the current sell price for that? What's the margin I need to make? Boom. And then if it's a bread and butter item, so for those of you out there that know, production strings well. If it's like a 5.5 production string item that's new and not used and it's really cheap, I may buy it on speculation. And if you buy it right, you can hold that item for 3 to 5 years. So it just depends on if the item's a bread and butter or if it's a specialty item. And then, yeah, sell side stays pretty standard.